What's going on, everyone? It's your favorite jealous hater Apoc, and welcome back to the channel. So by now you all should know about how JesssFam and her little sidekick known as Sunkissed Mama hassled a few of their fans and dragged them across their platforms, sending some real actual hate their way. Real genuine, huh? But anyways, I actually interviewed those three girls, and after I pushed out those interview videos, I decided to take things up a notch and, well, message JesssFam and Talia about the situation, because unlike some biased people out there, I actually like to listen to all sides of the story. Both of them, JesssFam and Talia, kept going on and on and on about how there was a lot more to the story than to what those girls were letting on, and that they weren't telling the whole truth. So I did what I did, and I went seeking for that truth. Bet you can only imagine how that one went. And to be frank, I was shocked that he even got a response from Jess or Sunkissed Mama. Okay, let's get to the show. Hey Jess, it's Apoc, assuming you know who I am, but I was wondering if you'd be willing to sit down and have a conversation about what happened the other day with those teen girls. I have their side of the story, and it would be great to have yours. I want to keep in mind here, before we continue on, that I'm actually trying to have a one-on-one conversation with JesssFam. So for anyone that goes,
Apoc, you didn't rail into her hard enough.
Yeah, that's really not the point. It's already hard enough getting people like Jess, you know, vloggers and whatever, to respond to people like me who speak out against their actions. Plus, remember, like I said, you don't want to scare off the apparent non-confrontational person by being confrontational. It's called a tactic or a method. Don't worry, Jess tried to pull her own tactics on me as well. You know, the same tactics that she does with her audience. Too bad I'm not 12. Ah, hello. It with a heart emoji. Yeah, I've heard of you. You're pretty mean, lol. I don't feel like a conversation with you is necessary, but because I know you'll be making more videos about it anyway, I don't mind giving you a little insight if you want to screenshot this and share without twisting it. Well, we can both be a little mean at times, huh? Lol. I would love to have a conversation because I do like dialogue and to solve problems, even if at times I do come off harsh. I don't twist anything in my videos. I'm not that pathetic Canadian DCP. In fact, I have defended you a couple of times, have a whole ass video telling people to leave you alone about things that don't matter. Anyway, I'm sure Talia messaged you. If not, I'm talking with her now, and I'm willing to hear you guys out and hear your side of things without any drama. Having a conversation is a good thing, Jess, which I do find it pretty hilarious that she called me mean while her, Chris, Gabe, and the other one go on their podcast and on others using derogatory terms towards other women. Gotta love all that women empowerment. Ha ha ha, fair enough. I haven't seen much of your channel, if I'm being honest, but naturally I tend to group all the drama channels together in my head, much like you group together all the YouTube moms in a negative light. Sounds a bit biased if you ask me. So how am I mean, and how do you know if I paint all the YouTube moms in a bad light if you don't watch my channel, Jess? I have made several videos on some real serious topics that definitely need to be talked about. Like, I don't know, the TikTok mom digital princess who left her son home alone at night unattended. I've talked about how parents need to keep an eye on what their children are watching on this very platform, because there are videos out there pushed out towards kids and it's literally causing them nightmares. Not to mention the whole Britney and baby Britney moral thing, whatever, who is actually friends with you, Jess, who claimed that she was going to quit family vlogging because some weirdo contacted her daughter through a video game, and this person knew the ins and outs of their home and other personal things, other personal information that Britney and her family should only know about, but who is now back to family vlogging, doing the very thing that she claimed that put her own family in danger. Bruh. So should we not talk about things like that? Is that just stirring up unnecessary drama? What about Katie Sorensen, Jess, the mom influencer that was arrested for trying to claim that a random couple tried to abduct her children but was caught in a lie and is serving 6 months in jail for her actions? But this monster mom influencer tried to ruin the lives of 2 other people for clout, because the very first thing she did after this apparently happened to her and her kids was that she hopped online and cried wolf. Mind you, those 2 innocent people have a family. I forgot what number it was, but they have upwards of like 7 kids, I believe. That person you claim that I tried to make look bad has actually done some really terrible shit. it, and to be honest, try to ruin more than 2 lives, but an entire family's. So for you to just sit there and state such ridiculous things is beyond me, but hey, maybe if you weren't so judgmental and actually watched my content, you know that. And I guess she decided to completely ignore the fact that I said I made videos defending her, which I did. Why are people mad at JesssFam? This video was about people being mad over stupid things, but also a little understanding why they were mad to begin with. She like cried or something about a broken computer while on her way to a free sponsored Disney trip. Mind you, this is in the middle of the pandemic and people are losing their jobs and houses and what have you. It was a little tone deaf. Let's also not forget this one, Leave JesssFam Alone, where I actually defend Jess to the T and told others to just stop talking about her because I didn't think she was problematic. Now obviously my mind's been changed on that one, but this was after what, Jess? Combing through your content. I actually discovered that she's one of the worst when it comes to child exploitation and being dramatic. Chick can't even let her own son break his bones in peace. But I can accept the fact that there's a difference between drama channels and hate channels. How would you know the difference when you admit into grouping us all together? And I could agree you don't seem as nasty as that creep Canadian dude. Unfortunately, I'm not willing to entertain the idea of putting any more energy into this than I already have. Keeps going on and on about it. We both know I should have never opened my mouth to begin with, so I know continuing to let this drag on is not in anyone's best interest but yours. Keeps dragging on with clickbait and Insta lives. I truly appreciate you coming to me for this, and I will write out something for you to share on your channel. Don't worry, I'm sure it will still get the views you want. LOL. Well, someone needs to get off her high horse. One of the lowest YouTubers I get views on. Lol. Overall, I regret ever engaging in this conversation. I should have ignored every bit of negativity as I usually do, blocked them, and continued on with my day. Yeah, you know, Jess likes to do this whole song and dance that she just blocks and ignores everything and everyone that's based around so-called hate, or at least what she labels as hate, but will continue on talking about it or new things over and over and over again. She says she knew better and that she should have just ignored the whole thing, while going on her Insta live after the fact and her stories and whatever else, proceeding to talking about this even further. It's kind of like when she says she shouldn't really talk about COVID because so many have opinions about it, while placing her own opinions in a vlog on personal choice based around COVID. Let's also not forget the sea of COVID clickbait that she pushed out even before actually getting COVID. So if you don't want to hear opinions or talk about it, turn off your damn comment sections, or I don't know, maybe stop producing content based around it. Ever think about that one, genius? I have already sent an apology directly to the young lady we spoke with long before the video you posted with them actually. I thought you didn't keep tabs on my channel. Not sure if they cared to mention that, and before the live even happened, I sent a long, kind, direct message expressing my sadness to things they were saying on their public platforms with no response. I didn't watch your full video, so I'm not sure if they even mentioned that. There was a lot more to the story. Well, where are those receipts then? That's why I contacted JesssFam, was to get her side of the story and the truth that she claims. But it seems she can't produce anything outside of her own words, and we don't play that game here. If you want people to believe what you're saying, you're going to have to prove what you're saying with evidence, especially after your behavior. Family members who follow lots of those fan pages even got involved long before the recorded live that you saw. We also didn't randomly crash their live out of nowhere. They asked us to join the live. So first off, why are other grown-ass adults getting involved with these teen fan pages? To be honest, I think that just makes this situation even worse. All these grown-ups are getting so pressed about what children are saying, especially from people who claim to block and delete and have thick skin. And unlike Jess, I can actually provide receipts and show evidence that she's a liar. She claims she didn't crash their live out of nowhere, but when I talked to Talia, she said that she just joined the live and was sent the live by her friends and family. So yeah. Here's the thing, Jess. Maybe if you're going to lie, you should have gotten your story straight first with Talia, because unlike those teen girls, you and her are not on the same page. Regardless, I should have stayed out of it and ignored it. I can confidently say I have been nothing but kind to any fan I've ever engaged with, especially the girls behind these pages. I don't really believe in your confidence when you say this, because you have also said that you can confidently 100% guarantee that you don't engage with with hate or haters that you just ignore, block, and delete no matter what it is. But then you go on and do all this. So why in the hell would any of us believe what you're saying, that you're kind or whatever? Why would we believe that when you contradict yourself all the time? Not to mention, after all of this, you were still trolling the girls and others on your Instagram stories, blasting them in front of your huge audiences and enabling your community to be bullies to them. You had other adult women calling these teen girls while promoting it on your platform and just publicly laughing about it. I failed to see how gracious and kind you really are. Mind you, to this day you're still being petty, putting fans in quotations like that, as if these girls were never really fans to begin with, but they literally had fan pages. They were super fans of yours and Talia's, dedicated to you guys, spending their own precious time making edits for you guys to show how much they loved you, and they did this for years. But now, all because they think for themselves, because they don't agree with your actions or support all of your choices, now they're hateful people spreading negativity? Get real. I met Chloe in person before, had a great conversation. I took the time to take pictures with her and everything, but none of that is ever talked about because it won't make a good story for people. Oh, a good story, huh? Oh, you mean like you and your channel and your content? How you can't post a single video without there being drama to it? You always dramatize everything. But anyways, having one good conversation with someone or taking a picture with them, that doesn't define you as a good person. Pretty sure those girls who were victims of Ted Bundy had at least one good conversation with him before he murdered them. Shit, most girls thought he was charming. Now, I'm not comparing Jess to Bundy, but you get the idea. But my guess is all this happened at like Playlist Live or some other dumbass convention where you're basically doing meet and greets, where Chloe paid to be there while JesssFam probably got invited for free. She's acting like taking a picture with a fan is some sort of a grand gesture, like she's doing them the favor or going out of her way, while Chloe and the rest of the JesssFam community are the only reason why Jess even goes to conventions in the first place and live the life she lives now. Tell me you don't appreciate your community without telling me you don't appreciate your community. You would think that a picture or a conversation wouldn't be an issue or used as an arguing point to hold over someone's head to make you seem like the good person. You know, this kind of reminds me of the creep Canadian DCP, the person that just doesn't like or hates or whatever, who did something very similar. He got asked a question on what mic to use for audio improvements by my good friend and peer Sharon. By the way, go subscribe. And for context, she did ask this question in a time where she still was a fan of his, but then when her mentality changed on him, he flipped the script and went full-blown JesssFam. I hope you show people that I helped you when asked. This is literally almost word for word with what Jess said about taking a picture with a fan, and just like that, suggesting a mic is not a grand gesture or going out of your way. Funny how two people, JesssFam and Dad Challenge Podcast, who are supposed to be on opposite ends of the spectrum, that are supposed to be polar opposites of each other, have so much in common, and it's called narcissism. Like I said, I'm usually pretty good at ignoring hate, LOL, and I should have done the same in this situation. Not that this is an excuse. She literally used her mental state as an excuse while not considering someone else's. And I'm sure you will mock my next statement, but I am truly just human. I've made lots of mistakes and I'm sure this won't be my last. I've developed thick skin against people like you, but this last year a lot has happened in my life, on and off camera. Shocking to you, I'm sure, as you don't believe anything could happen to my family without me exploiting it. It's so great how she says she's built thick skin over the years to people like me, yet doesn't know a thing about me and has admitted to not watching much of my content. How does that work? And she can talk about being human all she wants and how this was all a mistake. But if that was the actual case, then why did she continue on with the drama? She says she knew better than to go in that live and engage. She says she's embarrassed. So if engaging was a mistake, what's the rest of the bullshit? It's no longer a mistake if you keep deliberately dragging it out, especially knowing you shouldn't be doing it. And as for her stating that people like me don't think anything can happen to her or her family, that is just a ridiculous statement. It happens and life happens to everyone. But yeah, you do kind of exploit everything for monetary gain. You can't say you don't. Every moment is thrown up as content for her. She literally told her own community that she has to get drunk in order to watch her husband mess around with another woman, because if sober, she couldn't consent. And this is all based around her trauma of getting cheated on by her ex, who she's still pressed about to this day. I mean, in that very same video, someone asked if she would ever get back with her ex while literally being married to her current husband, and she didn't even bat an eye or factor him in her answer. So yeah, Jess, things do happen to you, but you also monetize it in the happening, and if you don't, it eventually will.
Apoc, what about her and Kira almost getting kidnapped in Tennessee?
Oh, you mean the video where I have 2 parts on and I still need to throw out the 3rd? But I already proved it to be false. I debunked the video, which is just so convenient. They don't have any evidence or proof of, but have footage of their kids dripping in blood or grandmother dying in the process of. Real convenient, huh? Not to mention, check out this gem. I really let my raw emotions out in this video, not going to lie. It was a hard day for us both. As I always have for the last almost 12 years, I share not only our extreme highs, but also our lows and vulnerable moments as well. And that's how you bring receipts, people. So if sickness, bloody noses, broken bones, extreme private moments, and even death is showcased off to the world as content, what else is there really going on behind the camera that she's apparently not showing? Can't imagine there'd be much. And maybe if you and your son are actually having a rough day dealing with hardships, Jess, maybe, just maybe, put the camera down. Again, not an excuse, only an explanation. Believe it or not, these last 2 weeks put me in a really bad spot mentally, and after being away from my family, home, and children for 17 days, the hate found a place into my life to the point where I felt the need to defend myself. I never should have, I usually don't, but I did, and I went about it the wrong way. I get being away from your home and family would suck ass, but understand the context here. She's openly admitting that because of her problems going on in her life, that she took it out on teenage girls and never even considered their own mental states or what could be going on in their lives that caused them to do this in the first place. She only thought of herself. Let's also not forget about this moment where an adult talked down to Jess's kid and she didn't dig it very much. So apparently Jess is allowed to express herself, but no one else is. I mean, where's that same mentality and energy for this Karen? Don't get it twisted. I don't approve of what she did either, but by JesssFam's logic, something could be going on in her life and we just don't know it. And so because of her issues, she's just acting out. She may have known that engaging and talking down to a child was wrong, but because of the low points in her life, she felt the need to engage. So why did JesssFam react? I mean, this person is a human too. This all could just be a mistake, her mistake, right? Or is it that a grown ass adult was picking on a kid and other adults saw this and stepped in to correct it? So aside from being the only one that's allowed to express herself, Jess is also allowed to use problems in people's lives, traumas and mental states as an insult to shade them for their behaviors. Imagine doing exactly what you speak out against, but then using it as a way to shade others. Again, I've already apologized long before I'm writing this. I don't expect to engage in this matter any further than I already have. I genuinely hope you have an amazing day and continue to find happiness in what you do. Heart emoji. Says this, but will call me a no-life loser in the next breath. To be fair, Jess, the difference between us is that you group people like me and DCP together while not watching much of my content, while also calling people like me low-life loser bitches, while I can't stand people like him. And like I said, I've defended you a couple of times. That's pretty judgmental because I don't group you all together. I take time and comb through vlogger content and find things I press issue with, but nothing ever small. The difference between me and DCP is that he bashes your cooking while I point out things that actually do matter. If a statement is all you want to do, that's fine with me, but believe it or not, I actually do care about things and people while having harsh opinions, although I wouldn't spend time doing this without getting paid for it, which I'm sure you can understand. But this isn't over. Those girls have other interviews lined up with bigger creators, and yes, one of them being that pathetic creep Canadian. I think an interview would be better, but I'll take a statement too, and I actually don't get too many views off you. No shade, but the algorithm is ruthless these days. I get more off of KK and Baby J, and their channel is dying. Hey Jess, hold this L. I'm not gonna mock mock you for calling yourself a human. I'm only questioning why that mentality only applies to you and Talia. We are all human and make mistakes. I get it, but that applies to all. LOL, this is sort of funny. I low-key wish I could be friends with people like you, but it's all the name of the game, I suppose. Okay, I get it. It's kind of like how you wish you were bisexual, you know, so you could enjoy those so-called threesome of yours. And why would you want to be friends with people like me if you think I'm mean? Or when you group me together with people like DCP, who you call a creep? Or when you don't even know me. We have never had a conversation prior, nor do you apparently watch my content to try to see my take on things and opinions. In fact, I would be the very opposite of what you would want in a friend, because I'm very opinionated and I tell it like it is. And remember,
You don't like others to think for themselves.
but we could never be friends because I don't like people like you. I really don't dig the whole bratty privilege thing. Not really my kink. Unfortunately, we are on opposite teams, and it's not good for my struggling mental health to engage in these sort of things. So having dialogue with me is bad for your mental health, but being a mean girl isn't? And yeah, we are on different teams. I advocate for children while you exploit yours. To be fair, I don't watch DCP's content either. I try to not give any attention to anyone on that side of YouTube, LOL. So you want to be low-key friends with me then? What? I'm sure you understand and deep down know I'm doing the right thing, even if it's not what you want for your channel. Yeah, I really don't care. I didn't even expect a response back. I'm actually still shocked about it, but regardless of getting content for my channel, I still was actually trying to get your side in the truth that you say they weren't speaking. You're the one claiming that the girls are not being fully transparent, but you know, it's not really my issue if you don't actually want to provide any real context, insight, or receipts. Those girls are going to have a field day getting all of this attention, and that's fine. That's their choice. I'm choosing to sign off on this. I won't be talking to any other drama channels or entertain this any longer. I said what I needed to say to those who mattered, whether they want to admit it or not, and know that in my heart I've done what I needed to do. I don't need to prove anything to anyone else. Yeah, see, here's the thing. Those girls didn't seek any attention. I contacted them, even DCP's group contacted them as well. The only person that actually sought out attention was you, Jess, when you went on Instagram Live to try to victimize yourself to your community. While doing what? Dragging this on. Funny how when teenagers just chatting with each other, yes, it's public, but that's all they were doing, but that's attention seeking. But when you do it, it's just called expression. And yeah, when you claim something, you actually do need to prove it. Otherwise, there's no credibility at all. I couldn't just say that you lied to your kids having full control with what's posted about them in the vlogs. I had to actually prove it, and I did, using your own daughter's words to do so. And yet I'll be told that I'm just twisting things or that the clip is out of context, yet Jess can just throw up anything she wants all willy-nilly and it will just be labeled as fact. How's that fair? To see the way you're twisting it already, making it seem like what I'm saying only applies to me, that's not what I said. If anything, that mentality seems to apply to everyone except people like me and Talia. You already missed the point. Anyway, I've said everything I needed to say in a long message above. Have a great night, my dude. If you ever change the direction of your channel, you know where to find me. Swirly star. That's not what I meant, Jess. The point was that everyone is human and make mistakes, and that we don't know what those girls go through and are still going through, or anyone else for that matter, and yet they are not allowed to make mistakes. You were aware that going into that live was a bad idea, which wasn't a mistake. It was something that you chose to do because you wanted to defend yourself, which is fine. But from the outside looking in, you and Talia gave off super mean girl vibes. Even if those girls were dead wrong, you as an adult should know better, especially being a mom and especially developing thick skin from all the haters. Which, again, you stated that you don't really watch my content, but still believe me to be full of hate and to hate you, which I don't. I actually liked you over all the other vlog moms, and maybe we could be friends if you're willing to talk more. Okay, before going on, is she saying that if I changed my content, the direction of my channel or whatever, to maybe like family vlogging or something else, she's willing to like shout me out or something? I don't know what she meant by that. I think that's what she's implying here. But how would she know the basis of my channel if she hasn't really looked at it? Tell me you're a secret sub without telling me you're a secret sub. Well, Jess, I'm actually going to have to decline your little offer, trying to pay me off to quit talking about you and all these other vlog moms on this platform platform. Nice try, bro. GG, rip. Yep, you're right, which is why I apologized long before this conversation and admit that I was in the wrong. The vibes we gave off were a product of several days of being trashed and ignored in private DMs, but again, I should have ignored it and been the bigger person. I was wrong for engaging. Says all that, but still went on live days later and trashed them even further. And obviously, I can only speak for myself. I was ignored in private DMs. I can't speak for Talia. I'm not sure what happened on her end. I can only take accountability for myself and my actions. Imagine being so pressed at roughly 30 about what 14-year-old girls are saying and that they ignored you. Fair enough, but one thing that stuck out at me is that you did continue on with the drama after the fact of the live within your stories, and even laughed when your community was trashing these girls. I mean, they apparently received death threats, bullied for their accents, you know, the way they talk and their looks. Not that you're responsible for what others do or say, but you do have a responsibility and a huge influence, which promoting that on your stories makes people think it's okay. You knew going in was the wrong move, but proceed to continue with it by trolling? Doesn't make sense. Anyways, all you jealous haters, that's about it. There's no more to this conversation after that point. I mean, Jess saw what I said. She left me on red when I pointed out how she enabled her community to bully these girls and how they were shamed for things out of their control, such as looks and the way they talk and whatever else. She never posted anything on her stories about how bullying is wrong or for her fans to leave them alone. It's actually pretty crazy when you think about it. Two grown-ass women getting so pressed over the opinions of teenagers and that they ignored them, but don't give a damn about enabling other grown women to harass them. Bruh. Oh, and one last thing that I want to touch up on. It wasn't an issue that Jess and Talia went into that live to defend themselves, or honestly anything based around COVID. It was just the mean girl vibes for me. In conclusion, bye.